Breaking tonight, the Israelis say the terror group Hamas has now racked up some 600 rocket attacks in recent days. This while we are getting new video of Palestinian protesters raining Molotov cocktails down on Israeli defense forces. Now, apparently, just awaiting the word to rush into Gaza, tens of thousands strong. Joining me now, Dr. Charles Krauthammer, who is a Fox News contributor, syndicated columnist, and author of Things That Matter, a New York Times bestseller for some 9 months now. Charles, great to see you. And so first, let me just start with the news of the day and whether you believe a ground invasion of Gaza is likely tonight.
No, I don't think it's likely tonight. I think it's the last thing the Israelis want. They will do it if they have to. But their objective here is to degrade the capacity of Hamas, meaning to knock out as many rockets, rocket launchers, rocket batteries, and high-level Hamas operatives as they can. They have no desire to go in because that could be very difficult. It could cost them lives. Up until now, no Israelis have died. And it would bring a lot of international pressure on them. The other reason is this. The leadership of Israel, particularly the Prime Minister, see the big game, the important game, the really only important issue is Iran and the existential threat of the bomb and the negotiations now going on. They don't want to be distracted. They don't want to be dragged into a war. They will do a ground incursion if they can't succeed from the air. I don't believe if it happens it's going to be trying to overrun Gaza or take it over. It might be an incursion of a mile or two as a way to destroy some of the launchers. But I think the Israelis are very reluctant to do it. They can do it, but I think as of now, it would be at least days away, if at all.
You've been very critical of the president and the administration, including John Kerry, on the subject of Israel and the Mideast peace process. This week, there was an op-ed by a German editor of Der Welt newspaper in the New York Times who came out and suggested that President Obama is governing like a German politician, all moral outrage, no action, saying the world now knows that when the American president finds things unacceptable, it doesn't really carry any meaning anymore. And he goes on to say, therein lies the lesson to our American friends who want to become less involved and more European. There's no second America to back you up when you drop the ball. You wrote a similar piece just a few years ago. Is that what's happening now, that we've retreated?
I think it's absolutely the right diagnosis. I wrote this in 2009. In fact, it's the last chapter in my book. In 2009, it was predictable. Obama was acting and talking like a European, not just in foreign affairs, but domestic. He sees himself as a social democrat trying to expand the size of government, the reach of government, regulation, high taxation, entitlements, Obamacare, for example. When the Europeans undertook that, right after the Second World War, to become these entitlement states, they understood they'd have to give up something. The money had to come from somewhere. It all came out of defense. You know, the line in Britain is that the National Health Service ate the British Navy. And they did that because they knew they could rely on the U.S. Navy and the U.S. military. Obama's the same kind of politician. He's shifted huge amounts of resources into his domestic initiatives, entitlements, draining, bleeding the military. We just heard today we've sent out notices to Army personnel in the field in Afghanistan that they are going to be separated, essentially kicked out of the Army very soon because of the budget cuts. We are eating our military, and we have a president who doesn't see a use for it because he's not interested in intervening in the world. And that's why he draws a red line here. It means nothing. A warning there to the Russians: you have hours to stop your support of the Ukrainian rebels. It's been weeks. Nothing has happened. But the German writer was right. The Europeans could rely on us. We have nobody behind us. And that's why there's such disarray in the world and fear among our allies.
Do you believe, as some of the president's critics have suggested, that this conflict we're seeing right now in Israel tonight is in part due to the so-called daylight that he's put between us and Israel? Because he's backed Israel in word, some say in deed as well, with all the money we've put toward iron defense.
Look, I do think he's put some daylight in. That was early, and especially in the first term. And it led to a collapse of all peace negotiations, which had been doing fairly well between Israel and the Palestinians. But I wouldn't attribute the conflict today to daylight. This is clearly Hamas trying to test Israel, trying to see whether it can inflict damage on Israel. Also, it's trying to gain the advantage internally over Fatah, which is its rival, because there'll be upcoming elections. It wants to show it's tough. And that's why the Israelis are responding, to try to make Hamas pay a very high price. So this is far more of an intra-Palestinian dispute and then a dispute between Hamas and Israel. I don't think the administration is responsible for what's going on now, but I also think they have no role to play in resolving it, and they are wisely staying out.
Good to know. Charles, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Again, the book is Things That Matter by Charles Krauthammer.